Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to the big news of the day. If you're finding our new initiative to be helpful, do let us know by liking the video and by sharing your comments. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for regular updates on such engaging content. The topic for today is the International Day of Forests, which is marked on the 21st of March every year. And through this short and crisp analysis, let's understand the background to this topic and also talk about the importance of forests and how we can protect them. See, the 21st of March every year is marked and celebrated as the International Day of Forests. This day was proclaimed by the UN General Assembly through a resolution that was adopted in 2012. The worldwide celebration of this day, which is backed by the United Nations, provides an opportunity to raise awareness about the importance of all types of forests and the need to conserve them. On this day, the United Nations and other related organizations, they encourage countries around the world to undertake local, national and international efforts focused on protecting forests and trees along with taking up tree planting campaigns. This important annual event is organized by the United Nations Forum on Forests, along with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, in collaboration with national governments and the Collaborative Partnership on Forests and other related private and non-government organizations. Over here, I would like to give you an exercise. Please read about the United Nations Forum on Forests and as well as on the Collaborative Partnership on Forests. Both these topics can be very important for your prelims exam. So please take this as an exercise. Read about these two platforms and you can post the important points in the comment section below. See, for marking the International Day of Forests, every year an annual theme is chosen by the UN and these efforts are led by the Collaborative Partnership on Forests. The theme for this year is Forests and Sustainable Production and Consumption, which highlights the links between forest conservation and sustainable development. The annual themes that are chosen, they are aimed to sync and fit with the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which calls for protection and revival of forest ecosystems around the world during the decade 2021 to 2030. This landmark decade, focused on forest ecosystem restoration, was declared in 2019 by the United Nations, primarily to promote the restoration of forests and the restoration of degraded ecosystems. It is part of a long-term effort by the Global Landscapes Forum along with its partners and members. This idea to restore global landscapes, especially forest ecosystems, is backed by World Bank and the UN Environment Programme as well. And the concept of dedicating an entire decade for the restoration of forest ecosystems emerged from the Bonn Challenge, which aimed to restore 150 million hectares of land by 2020 and 350 million hectares of land by 2030. The goal of Bonn Challenge is backed by the government of Germany along with the IUCN. And to ensure that these targets are achieved, the entire decade of 2021-2030 was declared as the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, and it was launched by the UNEP and the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. But to appreciate the importance of these efforts, first it's very important to understand the importance and significance of forests in both promoting human well-being and as well as our biodiversity. See, forests play a key role in our ecosystems and they directly enable livelihood and they help sustain economic activities. According to studies, more than 1.5 billion people are directly dependent on forests for their livelihood. It provides home and shelter to several forest-dwelling communities around the world, along with addressing challenges such as food security, prevention of droughts, regulating the average temperature of the earth, preventing wind erosion, and more importantly, forests act as a carbon sink, which can help in reversing global warming. And as you know, through the process of photosynthesis, they provide for life-sustaining oxygen and play a much bigger role in the overall biodiversity and in the ecosystem. They further enable human well-being as several resources in the forest serve a medicinal and therapeutic purpose as well. It's because of this importance that under the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, goal number 15 has been dedicated to protection and conservation of life on land. This goal includes many sub-targets, such as protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, along with sustainably managing forests in order to combat desertification and to halt and reverse land degradation and to halt biodiversity loss. This Sustainable Development Goal has clearly identified the link between forest ecosystems and biodiversity. And through this infographic, you can understand how the conservation and protection of threatened species of animals and birds is directly linked with the protection and conservation of our forest ecosystems. UN data shows that the world has lost more than 100 million hectares of forest in just 2 decades between 2000 and 2020. This, along with the threat of spreading invasive alien species, has destroyed and degraded forest ecosystems, which in turn is having a direct impact on threatened species of animals and birds. So, to address this environmental concern, the UN Strategic Plan for Forest 2030 was brought out by the United Nations, and it provides a global framework for forest conservation efforts at all levels to focus on sustainable management of all types of forests and as well as trees present outside forest areas in order to halt and reverse deforestation and degradation. This historic agreement on forest conservation was adopted by the UN Forum on Forests in 2017 and was subsequently adopted by the UN General Assembly as well. The key pillar of this strategic plan are the 6 global forest goals that have been recognized, along with 26 associated targets, which are to be achieved by the member countries by 2030. These global forest goals, identified under the UN Strategic Plan for Forests, they are voluntary in nature and universal. These 6 goals which have been identified, they support the objectives of several other international arrangements, including the SDG targets, the Aichi biodiversity targets of the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Paris Agreement and the Climate Change Convention, and other related environment and forest related agreements. The overall vision, principle, and commitments of these 6 goals, they have been set in the context of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, and hence it is important to make a note of these 6 global forest goals. These global forest goals that have been laid out under the UN Strategic Plan for Forests includes reversing forest cover loss as goal number 1, improving forest benefits and livelihoods as goal number 2, protecting forests and use sustainable forest products as goal number 3, mobilizing resources at national and local level for forest conservation as goal number 4, promoting inclusive forest governance as goal number 5, and cooperation and work across sectors as goal number 6. These 6 global forest goals are essentially providing for a 3-tier response to conserve our forests at the global level, at the national level, and as well as at the local level. Now, with this understanding, let's take a quick look at the state of forests in India. For this, the best source of reference would be the State of Forest Report, which was recently brought out for the year 2021 by the Forest Survey of India. See, the Forest Survey of India brings out a biennial assessment, and recently in January, it brought out the 17th report for the year 2021. This report of Forest Survey of India, which functions under the Environment Ministry, is brought out once in 2 years, and it provides us an accurate picture about forest cover and tree cover in the country. Under this assessment, the report estimates the growing stock, the extent of trees outside forest areas, the mangrove cover, the bamboo forests, and the assessment of forest carbon stock in the country. According to the report, India's forest and tree cover has increased in the last 2 years, and according to it, there has been a 2,261 square kilometer increase in India's forest cover and tree cover. Forest cover has registered an increase of 1,540 square kilometers, and tree cover has registered an increase of 721 square kilometers. It's also important to take note of the fact that 24.62% of India's geographical area is covered with forests and trees, as compared to the 33% target that was laid down under the National Forest Policy of 1988. In terms of area, India's total forest and tree cover is spread across 80.9 million hectares. And as per the 2021 State of Forest report, these are the states which have registered the highest increase in forest cover. This includes Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Karnataka, and Jharkhand. And the Indian states which have the highest forest cover as a percentage of their total geographical area are primarily located in the northeast of India, and this includes Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Nagaland. And the states and union territories that have more than 75% of the geographical area under forest cover includes the Lakshadweep, Mizoram, Andaman Nicobar, Arunachal Pradesh, and Meghalaya. And these are the states and union territories which report a forest cover which is higher than the target prescribed under the National Forest Policy. They report a forest cover of at least 33 to 75%, thereby constituting the greenest states and union territories of India. So as we bring today's discussion to an end, don't forget to like the video, share your comments, and do hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.